All right. Hello, Compass. Hello. Good morning, everybody on the West Coast. Hi from the midday lunchtime on the East Coast. It's great to be here with you guys again. It's session five so far, and really four of the main categories and topics that we were meant to cover. So we're coming up on the we're rounding that circle, that Zen circle. Very exciting to be with everybody today. So we've got a lot to cover. Seeing a great conversation in the chat. I want to remind you again, there will be time at the end for questions today. I'll dive in for a little while, so please feel free throughout to put questions in the chat. Just like last time, it was great to see everybody jumping in to help answer some of those questions ahead of time. So excited to see the conversation flowing today. All right. Well, just like we always have, let's get right into it. Got a lot of content. So just like last time, I wanted to share a fun old Compass thing that I dug up thinking about this course and as I've been doing my research. And just like last time, I think I shared an ad which was a laptop screen that showed the technology of Compass and how we were marketing that. In the same way, this was an ad that ran actually before I even started at Compass. And I looked at it initially as like hey, something to improve. But as I look back on it, I think it also does hold a lot of the principles of our Zen circle that we've talked about, right? Okay, let's talk about one, putting the customer at the center. And in this case, we're truly, obviously focusing very much on this ad towards top agents. The message is very specific about empowering agents to grow their business. And this kind of singular message that Compass had at this time, it still really does today, is this we're doing things that no other brokerage can or is willing to do. In the same way that you're thinking about what is my differentiation that's going to say, what can I do for my clients that no one else can? And that's what we're working on this course. And so in this case, we had a business development team from some of the best consultancies in the world, McKinsey and Bain and otherwise, and they were working on agent problems. They were actually doing things like working on property pricing and market research to service our agents. And so the marketing itself here shows real people, right, who are supporting the agents. It shows the people. It doesn't just say we have these people. It specifically talks about what they're doing for the agents and how it impacts their business, why it matters to the agents. You see the breakdown, what each person is doing below. And it uses memorable editorial photography to make this thing, look important, right? Instead of just headshots necessarily or little people in bubbles kind of. And so I thought this was a great practical application from many years ago, before we even became Compass, that still rings true today in our coursework. And remember, we're using these decisions in this kind of worksheet and the strategy that we're putting together so that we can help distill down and make our decisions better about what we're actually going to do. And so again, we're completing the circle with today's session. We're going to focus on delight. We're going to focus on the kind of way to build influence with people that are meaningful for us, that are going to help us build business, that are going to bring us business through referrals, and really kind of the same principles hold true for our clients who we're trying to have richer and deeper relationships with. And so again, we want to create promoters with these people. We want to do things that go above and beyond what they're used to from the kind of interactions that they might have with a salesperson or someone that they've done a business deal with, to actually create a word of mouth. And so all of the efforts we're doing is helping to create promoters, but we're going to focus today on the idea of client influencers a little bit, and mostly on agent referrals. And so again, getting back to how we're choosing the things we do and in our decision making and Zen circle of okay, for this particular customer at the center, here's what we're going to do to reach them, which I've shared multiple times. Today, it's hey, what if it was an agent, right? What if it was a Leonard in this case, or someone like him? And so examples here are, an agent dinner in your biggest feeder market that you come together with agents that you've contacted or connected with in some way. It has a content category of video about a new development being created in your specific area that you think that agents that you've connected with in other markets and have expressed that they're interested in that kind of content, and you're sharing that with them. You have potentially contacted over time. You love books and you've talked to other agents who are big readers. And so you're creating a book club for agents who know that love to read in your feeder markets. And you're, kind of delighting them by sending them messages, right? Personal messages, video or text, saying, hey, Leonard, I was thinking of you. I know how hard you've been working lately. So here's a gift certificate that I've got for you for the spa I know you like to go to that we talked about. So again, applying this, we're starting out with just some good examples, I think, and I'm now going to dive into some detail about how to think about this. But I think a great framework, right, that we've been applying to help us make decision making about what we make. And I wanted to feature just on the back of that something that I pulled from a specific worksheet. I think, again, this was from Brian Knox's worksheet, where they had talked about this idea of concierge level service. And I pulled it out because I think a lot of people over the course that I've been working back and forth with in the worksheets have talked about this, have talked about wanting to make one of their value propositions, one of their core brands aspects, this concierge level service. And I think this really does get back to, if you want to do this, it's a fantastic way to think about all the interactions that you have, right, with your agents that you're trying to cultivate referrals with, and with your ideal clients that you want to turn into bigger promoters of you. And so again, the words are right there. Commitment that goes beyond transactions, personalized service in some way, meaningful, impactful, and this is really the definitive thing. And so I think it's for many of you who've had this in your pillars that you want to achieve for your brand, this is a great course for you to dive deeply into how to bring that to life, maybe how to show that. And again, always got to remind ourselves, our brand back of what we care about and our clients. So I'm going to start with a story that again, like, builds on this and shows you, gives you a modern take from my experience outside of real estate as well, which speaks to the power of this kind of marketing, especially today. And so I'll start with a screenshot here of a Slack group. For those who are not familiar with Slack, Slack is just a software tool that you subscribe to that allows you to chat with people. No different than WhatsApp is a chat, no different than iMessage is a chat. This just allows you to have group chats more easily. It's a really common tool used by companies, many, many tech companies. And I believe Compass internally uses Slack for their teammates to communicate. And one of the powers of it I've seen over the last couple of years is that affinity groups, people who want to really come together, right, to form little micro communities and networks, are forming their own independent Slack groups, Slack communities. This is simply a way for people to stay more connected in an ongoing way, just like we're going to talk about doing with agents around the country. Now, you could take this idea and you could create your own Slack group potentially. It wouldn't be a bad idea if you found other agents that were interested, but don't worry too much about the tool itself, right? Again, think about this as, no matter if we're talking about creating a WhatsApp app group or a text message group or anything, or an email chain, this is a way to bring people together. And the powerful thing is that it's very curated around a specific set of clients. So in this case, the woman who started it is a professional in the advertising and marketing industry. And she's often asked by her clients, who are big brands, to bring people together with her. So she's like, hey, can you recommend an agency for me to work with? And so she often goes out and talks to all these different people and has recommendations. And she can then pass on the referrals of ideas right here inside this group. And over time, she's cultivated a very curated group right? You see those 378 members inside the group. And again, calling them members, right? Making it feel exclusive and limiting the amount of people that are in it. And she does that. She simplifies it by having just one channel. There's a simple channel called general. Everything is in there. There's no subgroups and people spiraling off on various things. Everybody communicates in the same thing. And she sets a simple set of rules inside of it. She calls it housekeeping. Here's how the thing works. What are the rules in here? What if I post something and it's gone? What happens if someone pings me about a job, or etc.? And so it's a way for, just with a simple post, she can dictate how people should be interacting, right? And so this has been one of the most impactful groups that I've joined since leaving Compass. And it's about the curation of the people, the thoughtfulness. It's about the shared interests, and it's become really a gigantic referral pipeline for the people inside of it. And so I thought a great example from outside of real estate, right? That was, you think about the applications for building a referral pipeline at Compass. So we talked about this, like we want to delight our influential people. It's very important as a practical application on a weekly basis that we're thinking about this with our clients. And one way to do that is to start to tag, right, the people, and make sure that we are aware, so we can easily pull a list and get in touch with the people that are meaningful to us when it comes to this. Now, I think you saw, in the past session that Brian Knox and the team used the word brand champion when it comes to their kind of word of mouth client influencers. I love that, and I just applied this idea of referral champions, the same thing you might think of for an agent. And then I asked, recently, just to get a little bit of information and some great case studies for this particular session, the people at Compass. I asked sales managers and other leaders this question: who do you think does a great job of building agent referral pipeline that I could get insights from? And these were some of the agents that were identified. And so they're from regions all over the country. I'm going to share some examples again today from them, because even the Compass team says that they're the best at it. And I think what it points to is it's interesting, like many of the same names, no matter who I talked to, kept coming up. And I think what that points to is really like a proactive effort by these individuals, an actual work being put in. Again, that weekly work in your marketing plan that's specific to building your agent referral pipeline. And I think I'll share a bunch of their insights and help. And so let's start with Les Arnold. I thought Les is someone who I've known since the very beginning. She was one of the founding agents at Compass in Boston. So I've known her for almost 10 years. A wonderful agent, wonderful person. And so I asked her to give us some tips. And she really focused on the main idea of, being true and authentic and building real, true friendships and relationships. She said, don't overwhelm with bulk emails or awkward swag mailers to people or lots of stuff, or, don't try to blast out and do, be trying to be something to everyone. Approach one-on-one with intention and sincerity, and seek out the people that you truly want to know. Make them feel listened to. Follow up warmly via email, DM them on Instagram, text message them to connect, and don't be generic. Be specific as to why you're saying hi and why you're checking in. And, she gave a bunch more examples, including some of her closest friends, that simply from the time early on of maybe a new market, starting, or they had a post that, they put up that wasn't getting a lot of feedback, or, and she would DM a comment. She would say a comment on it or congratulate them and start to build a relationship just by being kind. And today, almost 50% of her business is from referrals. And it has taken, of course, time, but she's built an incredible engine. And funny enough, when I texted her to check in, she sent me this photo. And she said this week, ironically, she's in Chicago. with 17 of the Compass female nationwide agents. And they're part of a 24-person group built through just what she talked about, right? Things, the skills we're going to talk through today. And she's going to take them to the Art Institute of Chicago because she herself is an expert in art and sits on the board of many art institutions in Boston. And this was a picture from their early arrivals dinner. So I think a great example of like the foundation is in the way that Les describes it, I think. And I thought we haven't had a chance to really stretch out yet. So I thought this was a quote that she had in her email to me that I thought was very zen. And so we'll take a little stand up, everybody, out of your chairs, please. Breathe in deep through the nose. Through the nose, out through the nose. I'm just getting over a little cold myself, so it feels good to do a little nose breathing. All right. So again, like just like Les says, like, and this is a principle that held true, right, with our earlier presentations. The best marketing doesn't look like marketing. It doesn't feel like an ad. It feels like a friend giving us advice. And this holds true for the work that you do from a marketing perspective with your influencers and your referrals. And so let's look at the marketing plan and how we can bring that to life with some of our action-oriented thinking now that we have a baseline of what our focus is and what our goals are. And so I know some of you are still working through this, and I want to say it's okay. Listen, we've got more time, right? I'm going to continue to work with you all the way through next week. And again, I please put in the chat today if anybody is on the call and has not, heard back from me or gotten comments from me specifically in their docs. Make sure to ping me. I will make sure to get there. Thank you for the agents last week that did so, and we're able to cover some ground this week. And as you're transitioning to the marketing plan, right, obviously our areas of focus, our goals, referrals is one of our key goals areas, right? We all know that has to be an intrinsic part of the delighting and referral network. And in a part of our outreach summary, it's also included there. And so again, we have our focus, we have our outreach summary, where each month we should have a breakdown of what we're doing to reach out to our ideal clients, what we're doing in our area of expertise, which is our local area, right? Our farm or neighborhood of expertise, what we're doing, right, to communicate with our client influencers, and what we're doing with our agent influencers. And this is it. This is the Zen circle. This is, you just focus on these areas, and I can promise that you will have a more focused growth in your business, and it will help you to still down, right, all the crazy things that you might be thinking you need to do. This is really how we're going to build. And so in our tracker, right, that last thing, like, hey, this week, what am I doing to delight? What am I doing with my influencers, with either my agents, my referral market agents, or with my clients? And I want to just, be honest with everybody that, like, this is new to some people, right? Like, I understand that. Like, this isn't necessarily come easy. And that's why we're going to spend some time on it today and why it's a focus. Even Christina, who is a fantastic agent, as you see, does all this amazing work, has so many client influencers, and is really doing a wonderful job, hasn't been able to spend as much time on the agent referral influencers. And so she knows now that she needs to shift some energy in her efforts towards that. And so that's something that you all are discovering too, as a part of filling out these worksheets at a point of why we do that work. And so we do need to have a referral focus. And so here's one example I wanted to share from one of the worksheets where, obviously this 5-year vision was great. And I really wanted to get a sense from people of like what they wanted to accomplish. And this great agent talked about how in 5 years or less, they'd like to take some of the work that they're in and open up in an aspect of it in Northern Michigan, specializing in high-end second homes around Lake Michigan, et cetera. And so the fact that this is a part of your future plan is something that right now it's an opportunity to start building, right, the referral pipeline actually with those areas, to start to understand those markets well, to start to build relationships with the agents there, knowing that that's what you want to do. And so you might not think to yourself, oh, that's a reason to go into that area now, but by doing this work, it uncovers, right, that is actually a space now that you should be spending time on building referrals in. As you all know, you've had the breakdown of your transaction highlights and your top feeder markets. And this is a great chance for we all need to know this information. Many of you don't know it. Many of you left this area blank or kind of ask questions about, how do I find this? This is something that Brian has offered, many times in the chats to help. There's many tools out there like Remind and others that can help you start to learn this. This is also just going to be something that, as you think about it more, you're going to build your referral feeder markets, understand them. So great to ask your sales managers, et cetera. And I'm going to share some insights about how to do that as well. And so in this case, there's a lot of top referral markets for this this team. But they do start to have, some similarities. And we're seeing, right, there's a set in Florida, right, Fort Lauderdale, Boca Raton, Miami, and there's a set kind of in the Northeast. And so, hey, that's a great area to focus on. You got the entire rest of the country, California, et cetera, like probably not worth spending time there, focusing on where you're seeing the feeder markets come from. For some people, that might actually just be in the city that you're in, right? This is someone who sells in New York, but is also seeing that their top feeder markets are coming from other neighborhoods, right? So agents who might not work in those areas, right? I don't really understand those necessarily, and have been passing on. But I also want to be clear that there's a difference. And I think because there's also maybe some confusion here around like, well, where am I getting, my deals from today? What are my feeder markets? And I want to clarify for everyone, like we need to find the markets outside our area. It could be as close as Queens for Manhattan, right? Or Staten Island. It could be Long Island. To build the relationships where people are looking to move or come to my market that need some assistance. And here's an example of based on what we just saw from Brian and the team. What were some of the things that they've done with their influencers in the markets and how to build that baseline? And so, like many, leaning into the one-on-one interpersonal challenge around back to basic, attending office events in those feeder markets, presenting their farm flywheel story, which you all have heard in markets, and helping agents and learn how to improve and build their business, right? And giving value. And then they have plans to visit new markets and present at sales meetings. And at the same time, many times people are still just starting at this. They might not have established in many of those feeder markets and seen that much business as Brian and the team have. So here was a great example of an agent who was, I have a good sense that Austin is a good market. And they, through this work, have seen that there's a client focus for them, 35 to 50-year-old range, and a connection to startups because they've done some of the work on their brand strategy. And so one thing that agent could use is the Find an Agent tool inside the agent app, right? And so many of you, I'm sure, know about this. If not, this was launched while I was still at Compass. It's been on that for a while now. An incredible tool to be able to distill down. And so what I did was just Google, where is the best place to live and work in Austin for a startup? And someone, I'm not even sure who this person is, but they gave a great rundown. It was the top list, result on Google. And they talk about, these neighborhoods. And of course, it's a starting point for me. Okay, South Austin, let's start there. And so inside of the agent app, I click Find an Agent, and I type in Austin. I scroll down here to the South Austin and click that button, and I see a whole bunch of results, 200 agents at Compass in kind of specialize in the South Austin. I'm sorted already by kind of high to low for the, kind of total number of deals. I decide to put just a basic price point that most of my clients that I'm looking for, usually that I send to markets, are usually between 800 and 2 million, somewhere in that range. So I'll put that range in, see what kind of agents operate at that level. Just curious, and kind of distill down a little bit. About 55 people here, and let's just start with the top person. But I don't really know that person that well, so maybe a good thing for me, instead of getting directly in touch with Darsh, is to just talk to the sales manager real quick. So I click view more details. I click the sales manager, and I'm there. There you see Bridget, who kind of oversees that set of agents, and I get in touch with her right there. And so for this allows me to be very quickly identifying a set of agents, contacting a sales manager in a region I don't know. And then, as you'll see later, maybe a great opportunity for me to kind of build that relationship with Bridget and say, hey, I'd love to pop in on any sales meetings that you're having, and Zooms, start to introduce myself, give value, give updates about my region, etc. So agents are your clients, right? In this case, and they need to be treated that way. And I see so much of just like the idea of throwing agents on email lists and adding them to the standard newsletters and stuff in the regions, even for people outside my city. And I think I really, this is the practice in marketing, to focus on them as our customer. And so we need to treat them in our CRM just like we treat any other client, and start to cultivate the relationships, just like Les talked about, right? The personal relationships, the one-on-one relationships with the people who are gonna help us get deals. And a great tag might be feeder to start, right? Feeder market could be good to just be a baseline. That way we see everybody who is an agent who's in our feeder markets. And then many of you have done the hard work, right? You've actually put into your worksheets and thought about what is the areas of specialty. I think this was Matt Reed's, and he's in Nashville. And yes, a lot of people coming across the country, fleeing California, and heading to the beautiful streets of Nashville. And he's got California here. I mean, there's no mystery where you should be spending time building relationships with agents. And that was the question that I asked. And so that will be part of his marketing plan. Just like, we talked about earlier, like how do we establish, we got to do the research to understand who the feeder markets are. And you've seen this map shared before from Brian and the team of down to the Florida region.
To welcome you to our city for the retreat this year.
We are a deeply local team, and we can't wait to share everything you need to know about how we live, work, and play in this magical city we get to call home. We want to be a resource and help you prepare for the retreat and make your trip extra special. Over the next couple of weeks, we will be launching a series about all things Charleston.
We've got you covered from must-try restaurants and top-notch hotels to ideal event venues and must-see attractions. We'll even provide tips and insight into the best activities and how to pack. Whether you're a history and architecture buff, a beach bum, or a foodie, there's something special here for everyone.
If you're planning a visit soon, consider stopping by our team office. We have a fully furnished residence upstairs, and we'd love to host our Compass family and show you what Southern hospitality is all about.
If you want more information from Charleston locals, please reach out to us. We would love to hear from you.
So this is a great video created by people who were on that list earlier when I asked local Compass leaders who was great at agent referrals. Andy and Andy Byrne. And here they are, they're the partnership across the Carolinas. And we all know Charleston is going to be the home of the next retreat. And so they're treating Compass agents like clients, right? They're creating videos to help you understand the region. They're offering, again, like she said, tips, ideas of where to stay. And I know a lot of people don't understand what to do and where to go down there. And it's a fantastic way to start to build value for people. And so they posted this to their website, and it really gets back to why people choose you. Because again, you have to make a choice, right, about why you would want to work with someone in a referral way. And so taking that same lens, like getting back to our why people choose Ferrari, well, people may choose Matt because they feel that their clients are going to be taken care of. They feel like I look like his clients, or he's at my level. I know from looking at his Instagram feed that he sells great houses. And maybe I'll get some clients back from him because I know that that's a feeder market for me too. And the movement is happening both ways. And you know what? He just makes me feel good. He's like, when we talk, I feel listened to, etc. Just like Les mentioned. And so, again, using your CRM is how you achieve those things, right? And how we market to that team of people that we're starting to develop. And so in this case, I've got one here where I just looked for people with golf as a tag. We've talked a lot about golfing and golfing places in Naples, etc. A similar tag, just like any other. But I know plenty of Compass agents are also. So if I added golf and feeder market here, I'm going to see the people in my feeder markets who are agents who play golf and who I can reach out to and say, hey, come into town. Would you like to play 18 with me? And that is a prime way for how to market to and have them choose you, because that's a connection with their brand and you and their brand. So think about the same thing as other clients. I could create an action plan of repeated monthly follow-up where I send that follow-up to those people, and I'm always every month as part of our Zen plan. And it doesn't have to just be skills. It doesn't have to just be regions or expertise. It can also just be who we are. And so I thought this was a great highlight from a worksheet of someone who was in the Brits of Compass group. And a lot of these affinity groups are fantastic ways to build referral networks across the country, because it's a natural that, other Brits at Compass, I'm sure there's not that many of them, would want to potentially refer to others, because potentially some of their clients are also from England, etc. And so I thought it was a great example of also thinking about that inside of your tags. And in the kind of why they're choosing us, this is also why I asked many of you to give a little bit of additional context. You put maybe 3 names of agents in your agent referral influencer list, but I asked for additional written context to explain why. And here's the agents' great examples of a breakdown of kind of the reasons behind what or why these agents have been referring with them. I think we could go further here. In this case, it's a little bit of what happened and how the relationship is good. But what would be good to know is what is it about these people that I can find in others that would share similarities with 3 other people. If I wanted to add 3 more people to another row of doubling my agent referral influencers this year, what can I learn from these people that will allow me to find 3 more? It's the same principle, right, that we're taking with our clients. How can I find 50% more empty nesters? How can I find 50% more people in finance how can I find 50% more artists, or, on and on. These are all the clients that I've heard in the worksheets, and they're incredibly, impactful for knowing of how we then market to and start to attract more people like them. So again, treating our agents just like clients and identifying why they choose us in that region. So, okay, they kind of decided to choose. We started to build some of these relationships, but like, what do I send to them? Like, how do I market to them? Um, and this is for some reason blocked. So I'm going to exit out of here and refresh this. So we go to page 52 again. And there we go. We're back. And so in this case, we have someone who, I think Robbie, who's done a fantastic job of really leaning into her marketing worksheet. And you see here, this is her last month outreach summary. And fantastic, right? She's got the breakdown for the ideal clients that she sent to. She's got the social media stuff she did, the direct mail pieces. She's got the updated tags for the new focused areas that she is going to market to. She's got the breakdown of the things she's going to do for her client influencers. And then she's got her 2 times just listed emails to Compass Bay Area agents. And so I challenged Robbie. I said, this is amazing work. You've got the strategy here where the wheels are moving, the Zen circle is flowing. But let's think about how we up-level the offering to the agents. Let's think of them as clients. Would you value getting a just listed email? They're just, I don't think they're that powerful. And even something that features her listings needs to go further, right? Maybe it's the easiest way to find out how and what they want by going to the Bay, going on a trip, getting into the office, meeting with those other agents, starting to build a few relationships, and then asking them directly, I'm going to head back home. I'd love to keep up with you. What would you want to receive from me? What would be valuable to you? Would it be a deal of the week, kind of email? Would you want to know, what's happening, with festivals there? Whatever it is, they're going to tell you, because they only will let you know things that they value and that they want to receive. So a great way to think about how do I start to identify what I send is like literally ask the customers. And we all know we all have strong opinions in real estate, and they'll share with you. In the case of Stacy, see as part of her month outreach summary, gifts, a big one, obviously getting back to what Les said, like the real interpersonal things, being active on their social accounts, obviously a very big, component, right? Again, showing you care, spending the time, and personal note cards, and then participating in, like she says here, panels, masterminds, retreats, making that work. And just with these basic things here, Stacy does over 30% of her business, I believe, is from referrals. It's a huge number, and she's authentic to who she is, and it comes through, and it's really been effective. Of course, it's taken time. Again, thank you notes, critical. Again, I'm sure you all have heard the story about Robert. Still today, when he goes and meets with an executive or something, they get a handwritten note afterwards, and that goes incredibly far. And for gifts, I'm going back to the golf again here, but I've got easily tagging my golf people in my CRM, and they're going to get some golf shaped ice cubes, right? Which are, again, inexpensive. I was thoughtful about them, and we had a great time at the golf trip. And I'm going to do that, the month or two after I visited the region. So again, this is the follow-up in the great marketing that allows me to speed up and build stronger relationships because I'm showing that I care, and going further there. And then of course I can go in and I can record a video for people using my tool, which will track, my connection to the back of the CRM and my list. Hey guys, can't wait to hit the course again with all of you. And just got off the course today, had a great 9 shot. We didn't shoot too well, didn't putt too well, etc. And like I shared last time, we can use Loom as well to maybe go a little bit further into their inboxes with something that's, valuable too. Hey everybody, how you doing? My favorite referral partners out there in my various markets. sending you a quick update today of this brand new development. This is called the refinery at Domino. Thought this was worthy of passing on to you guys. It's just open for sales now. Incredible multi-use property right by the water. Mix of retail, condo units, offices space, and this will totally reinvent the area. Lots of big brands and stuff, Chanel, et cetera, coming into the area. So thought you'd care about it, and maybe want to share it with potential clients as you think about people moving to New York. And hit me up if you have questions. And thanks. Bye. So again, very quick, 30 seconds, less than a minute. Goes a lot more to show value and market my interest in the area, my understanding of it, seeing something new that maybe you're not aware of, and very quick and easy to do, and add to our marketing plan. Just like I shared last time, collections and public collections are also a fantastic way to do that. And so in this case, it might be, I'm in Queens and I want to share the best of that area, and just say, hey, listen, no need to get in touch with me, but I'll be updating this collection that you all are subscribed to, or public collection. I'll give you this private link, and I'll let you know, ping you with a text when I update it. But these are the best offerings, and that way you just easily can share it with your clients if you want. I hope that's helpful. And I can make a video about that as well, just like I shared last time in Video Studio. And so what we've seen there is we've come now to another pause, another breath, and what we've seen is this kind of really leaning into understanding the agents that we're going to work with and refer to, just like we do with our clients. And the same principles that hold true allow us to be successful in building our referral pipeline as well. So let's take another quick breath. Great. All right. Okay. Again, we're talking about consistency. We keep coming back to the same ideas because they apply again. I talked about this one, and when I first talked about pillar events in general, John Zimmerman's event and the VIP experience in Fort Worth, and I think it's just a fantastic example of building a referral pipeline. And it's definitive. Now, it's a lot of effort, right? And it's not for everyone, because it does take a long time to cultivate and put together and invest in stuff. But it's the principle of it, right, that I really love. And you can do it at a small scale, you can build to it, or you can practically just find these kinds of events with Compass agents in the country, and be proactive in building relationships and attending them. It's always a great opportunity, right? Some of them exist for you to leverage as your own referral kind of pipeline. And I want to go to an example of a referral network that was built that I'm sure some of you are familiar with, called the Private Client Network. And this is one where Kevin Sneeden, who started this, was also a very early agent at Compass, and had this vision of really trying to create almost like a private network, curated network from his mind, of top agents from around the country that could then be a collective group. And if you look at what they've done in their website and stuff, the real pillars, right, quote unquote, that they do are their own personal private client network events. They've done them now since 2018, at least 6 years. Each year they've gotten bigger and bigger. It's almost like their own mini retreat now for a smaller subset of clientele. And this is a proven strategy. They have built the entire network on the back of these interperson events. And they now have some of the top agents around Compass. They all then share many referrals with each other inside of this. And they have their own Instagram account and everything else. But there's principles here that apply to you building this in a small scale way, right? You building something that is intrinsic to you, just like I mentioned at the very beginning, a book club with readers, is the same kind of thing, right? It's like you need your pillar events that you can focus and concentrate energy around, that are going to attract other agents that have an affinity with what you do and what they do to build those interpersonal relationships more easily and consistently. And if we look at, again, what Brian and Jason have done, they're bringing a lot of these principles together around the travel that they do. And like I mentioned earlier, the breakdown of the things that they're doing. And those are their own. They're not a part of this other network. In fact, they're creating, in a way, I told them, their own network, the Knox network. And for people who like to, have referrals with them and that they can provide back to. And of course, retreat, right, is a fantastic, the best tag possible, and also one where you're going to, you have to go. I'm just going to say right now, like it's the best possible opportunity. And of course, we just saw the video here from the team, and I won't show it again. And this is a comment underneath that video from a great agent, Miami, talking about this video and doing exactly what was mentioned earlier by Les. And she is. There's the first agent jumping in. That agent is then connecting with them in that way. They feature, as I look for more videos after learning about this, great video helping me navigate the Compass Retreat, I then have some videos about understanding the best luxury hotels, and it starts to go into them having a bigger brand around Charleston and me looking at them as experts. And so this is helping build their brand and build their own flywheel by the work that they're doing specific to agent referral marketing. And of course, when you do this and you create these pieces, then, and this was, I think, shared today or yesterday in Leonard's email, where he featured the video. And again, has links to it, obviously talks about the team, and he's now promoting this team and its capabilities to his entire email list. And you can also run ads. You could do ones to it, but the key with these is creating ads and marketing for your referral pipeline that are authentic, that are championing the other people, right? That are presenting the work you're doing in a way that is very true, authentic, and loving in many ways. So here's an example. So again, this is just an example of how, I've used an existing template. I'm like basically saying, I'm giving multiple examples of the referrals that I've done and championing the people in this case that I worked with. And so again, this is a simple thing that I could target to my feeder markets. It promotes and celebrates the success of other agents in the Compass network. And it's actually showing, the power of the network that anyone sees it. So if I run it, even if it's tailored to my feeder network zip code, still other people are going to see it. And it's going to help build my brand as a trusted, person in the Compass network that has the power of this network behind me. And then I saw this ad recently, actually from the Compass team, which I thought was, coming from the Compass account, also a fantastic example of an ad that you could create for, related to, agent referrals or your client influencers, because it features a live talk in this case with someone who's truly desirable for the audience type. Again, we always see on Compass digital ads, there's a lot of listing ads, but there's no reason you can't change that image to be, in this case, a picture of the former NAR president talking about navigating the real estate agent changes in the industry. And that sign up just clicks straight over to a simple page with limited spots available and a time it's going to happen. So again, another great, in this case, example could be, again, related to that Charleston retreat example, is that team could just populate this with either that video or an image of, Charleston and say, hey, we're doing a live talk at this time with themselves and maybe another agent who'd gone to a lot of retreats, and about navigating the retreat and how to make the most out of it. And so, as we come up on the hour here, I thought I wanted to kind of show an example of like some of the things we've talked about and how we might like kind of bring it all together. And so early on, there was an agent in that list as well named Joe Bells. Joe is also based down in the Naples region. And this is an image from this website. And he's got the Compass golf cart. They're obviously like, in that area connected to golf. And I love, like, again, getting back to what I love about that image is like, it's what they care about, but it's also what their clients care about, right? Obviously, Naples is an enormous golfing community, a reason that people buy homes there, a reason people travel their vacation homes, on and on. And so he's actually taken what he cares about and what his clients have cared about. And this is his website as an example, right? And it's pretty much who we are. It's about golf, right? It shows Joe on the golf course. It shows the various team on a golf cart. It has the navigation of the site is focused on his six-pack abs, his bundled golf packages, right? Where you can actually buy into communities and get memberships to clubs bundled with the sale of the house. And so if that's the purpose of coming down, that's a fantastic thing to feature. And even their featured properties are broken out in sections around those areas, right? And so single families and condos in bundled or golf clubs or inside of country clubs. And so if you're someone who's looking to be seen as an expert in this area and connect and share your brand, again, like we're all working towards finding this differentiation, this thing that's meaningful to us and our clients. And I thought this was someone who just did a fantastic job of showing that. And then on his example for his website, even did a little video talking about the new site, how he can choose from, again, bundle club, golf club, experience, etc. So great there. And because Joe was listed in that breakdown of great referral people, I thought I'll reach out to him and hear what he has to say. Here's where his tips. And again, it's what we're talking about. It's a baseline for marketing. Nothing crazy here, right? Visiting feeder markets, hosting events in those markets, being active and thoughtful at every retreat, and in his social media, putting out content that shows other agents and how knowledgeable he is and how he's the expert in Naples. So when people are looking, they see that, and that builds confidence in them. And for his last was like, put a system in place. Because if you're a big feeder market like Naples is, he gets so many, he was actually stumbling and not able to do a good job early on of giving the client, other agents, great service. And so this is what I'm talking about. Treating them as clients is number 5 here. Getting a system in place to do that and being, especially if you're going to be very proactive and undertaking the effort. And this is from Joe's Instagram. These are examples of client testimonials where he features the other agents, the name of the agent, the team. Of course, Jeff Lowe is one of the number one agents or top agents in Chicago. And so this was a way to kind of tag him and his team, call him out, congratulate him, thank him, give him promotion. Did the same thing with a Illinois to Naples referral here as a founding partner. And so, not my favorite design necessarily for those. I think we could feature just the agent pictures and do a slideshow perhaps, but either way, fantastic effort here and really great marketing because really the clients, right, for this are the agents. And even when he features videos that on the account that's sold from referral, he's thanking and tagging the referral partner in the social media post. And frankly, team, the number of referrals I know are happening in the limited time that I see this happening is mind-boggling. And so this is why, partially Joe and his team are so successful at this. And he talked specifically about sales meetings. He said he was just in Charlotte last week, and he was there with over 50 agents from around the country there for something else. And he asked the local sales manager there if he could attend the sales meeting to talk about referrals. And he was the only one of all the top 50 agents from around the country who thought of to take advantage of being and speaking at that meeting. And he understands that not everyone can travel to other markets. So it's a great way to get your sales manager to get you on virtual meetings and bring value to that meeting. And my practical example of this is during the kind of communication where I was talking to all the teams around the country and going to sales meetings to talk about this course. I jumped on a Southeast region one, and who was on that course but Amy Byrne from Charleston, talking about the retreat, sharing that she was there as a resource for everyone to do whatever it took. And so you're starting to see the trend, right? Like there is a formula. There is the work to put in and do on a consistent basis to build your referral pipeline. And it's not complicated. It just takes some organization and process, which we're helping implement. And for Joe, it means 30 to 40% of his deals are referrals. And in his best year, he did $40 million just from Compass agents around the country in referrals. And you can understand why he had a hard time managing that year, needed to build systems for it. So very exciting stats to hear. Now, of course, I know one thing is that Naples is a big feeder market, everyone. And so you might say, Matt, I'm in any other smaller market that doesn't necessarily have as many feeder opportunities, and that's okay. That could be true, but you'll have to think about that, look at the data, understand the feeders that do come, and make that decision for yourself. How much do you want to weigh in your marketing plan the opportunity? But at the minimum, you can give and receive at least a few more a year by doing some simple things. And that many of our markets are all Compass markets are all still major cities that people are moving in between. So as we put it back into our marketing plan, I wanted to share in the Zen tracker, I think there hasn't been a lot of activity in this, and I want to just be kind of clear that want some feedback on just if this format is unclear to people and not as easy to understand. Everyone's going to have their own way to track this. And so I also wanted to share and got permission from Jason and Brian to share their version, which they built, which just works with their system. And I think is a fantastic structure, which is basically the same thing here. It's just a different way to lay it out, where they have the months on the top, right? And then they have on their dark bar, the focus area, right? Fit in just with our plan, with our Zen marketing plan. In this case, Compass Agent Network and Referral Network is one of the sections. And so each month, they're breaking down what are we doing on social, digital, with events, gifts, etc. Are we traveling to the office? Where are we traveling to? What months are we traveling to? And then each of these sections adds a budget related to it. And in the same way that they had agent influencers, they also have brand champions. And so they're doing the similar kind of work, right? Gifting, sending them their home anniversary or equity review, doing Loom videos, to various things that we talked about. And so they're just applying this and putting a basic system in place so that every month they go, great, have we done these things? And holding themselves accountable. So fantastic work, very excited. Thank you for letting us show this and share this with the team, because I think it's a great way to see a practical application of the work we're doing in a section specific for the agents. And so we've got some time here, plenty of time here at the end for questions today. I see about 34 comments or maybe more. I'll give a second to let everyone pile in there with any more questions that I'll jump in there and start answering them. I do want to lead off with one question that Todd, I think, is on the call today. was asking me for clarity around what I meant by the area of expertise. And because I think that's a language that's not often used. So yes, apologize. That's just basically your farm area, the area you've chosen. I use the area of expertise because it's this idea that like it should be an area that you are an expert in. Right? Like whatever area we're using to focus our marketing in needs to be a place that we have a dominating expertise in or experience in selling and buying real estate inside of. So just wanted to clarify that first. And let's go back to questions. All right. All right, I'm up here at the top. And hello, Luciana. I see that you joined a little late, but hopefully you were able to understand the context of today. Sean says, I'm planning to run digital ads to my marketing funnel show Compass Concierge so that I can eat more home sellers. And again, I think that's a great idea. Sean, I think, again, anything that we can show that is of value to our client, right? The customer base that we want, that know that has a meaning for that. I've often thought that concierge is one of the most powerful marketing vehicles that we have. Because again, most people don't even understand it, aren't even aware of it. And the fact that we can really offer free money for that. So vital is a huge thing for the pain point. Tara, I see that you've been waiting some answers. Yes, I'll make sure to look at those over the next day or so. And Robin also. I will definitely jump in there. Thank you for letting me know. Nomita looks like couldn't find the link to the worksheet. I'll make sure to track down wherever that is and get you and send you an email today with your updated sheets. Tara giving a great shout out to Brian, who has been wonderful and really helpful with everybody inside the group and sharing their expertise. And it's been really fun to collaborate. And what are some of the ways agents are finding their feeder markets? And I'll see what the team jumped in their way to give you some help. Yeah, I think asking the sales managers is a fantastic place to start. We've got some great conversations going about feeder markets here and referral agents. And Miriam, I guess this is a perfect example, right? Receiving so many just listed, just sold emails from agents totally outside my area. I think this is something I hope we all walk away from this course is we're going to be more successful in this course than even other agents in the regions or in Compass because we're going to avoid that kind of behavior. And we're going to get better about building those one-on-one relationships, which actually are the opposite thing that Les referred to up front. Like she said, like if you are getting those things, you're actually turned off by those, and you're looking in another direction for an agent that is willing to spend more time and have a more meaningful relationship with you. So I think I'm still just like you, Miriam, astonished about how many people send those still. Can people post what they see in an email from a feeder market? I like to see photos of lifestyle. Market reports about their markets are good ideas. A listing how markets are doing, a little bit about the area. And these are all we're answering all our own questions, right? These are helping. What would we value on this call as agents? And that leads to what we'd want to make for others. Love this non-branded, buyer guides idea. We've seen this happen before, and I think it's anything where we can offer up something to another agent who's going to utilize that in some way to help them do business. We think back to Stacy Froelic's Good Bones video, right? That is something that they could send to their client who's looking to do a renovation, potentially, or take on a big renovation or an investment property, and say, hey, this actually looks like a really good investment opportunity. And so that marketing is thinking about the customer. In that case, the customer of that was the agent, and the same is true of Sean's example here. Great ideas. Sean's going to be, awesome collaborator and send examples. Yes, lots of love for the retreats. I hope everyone's buying their tickets for the next ones already in Charleston. I'm very jealous. Plan to take my lovely wife down to Charleston sometime in the next year or so, hopefully, because I love it so much down there. Question: if we add a realtor's social handle or address into our CRM and run a digital ad from our CRM, is it more likely to show up in their feed? You don't even need to necessarily. Well, one, if they're following you, right, and they are in your CRM and their email address is in your CRM, it will still target to them. So you don't have to have their social handles, but it's great to add, Sean. And if you know their handles, it's probably I would say whatever, third or fourth most important thing to add, right? You have their email address, their phone number, their mailing address, and that. And that's enough to do business and get very targeted ads. Great suggestion from Robin on your worksheets. Link the descriptions with more detail on what they mean. So Christina's got a question about the items down the side of this tracker or something. Should we work with the items across the top and change up the items down the side? Absolutely, Christine. Whatever the item, I put the items on the left, like email, social media, whatever, as examples of like things that you might do for those particular client areas. I think the way that Brian and Jason set up their template is more effective. Always learning, no matter where. I think I tried to be just oversimplify what I included. So basically, you would have your focus area, right? Was like client engagement with your influencers and client influencers, agent referral work that you're going to do. One section would be your farm and the work you're doing in that particular farm. And so, and then underneath that could be the categories of activities, whatever those might be, right? An event you're going to do, email or social media post you're going to do. And then to the right, the date, whether that was, you wanted to break it out by week or by month. So I hope that's helpful. You can definitely change that. And I hope that's why I wanted to include that great example from that team, so that you really know. Karen Vano is asking, should you focus on only one main value proposition so we're really targeted in our marketing message? And my push is yes on that. I think you want to get down to something, like that's why I had Joe Bells here at the end, because you can see just how absolutely focused he is with the value proposition, right? Golf courses, right? And golf communities and the homes that get you access to them. And so the best you can. Now, again, this is really hard work. And sometimes getting down to 2 is a fantastic way to do it, right? If you can get down to even just a couple things, because sometimes those, might have slightly different audiences. But I would push everybody to try to get to that one main value prop. Luciana has some questions about the messages for farming postcard campaigns to people that you don't know. I think when it comes to this, I tried to give a bunch of examples here. I think this is one of the biggest opportunities for us as a team on this in this workshop is how can we go further with the actual content? Once we're getting great at like focusing in, right? And that gives us more time to spend on the messages that we send. And we really want to show our value. We really want to show our expertise. We want to stand out in a way, again, that goes beyond the traditional basic, I just sold something, I just listed something, here's what's going on in the market. It needs to have your own like clear insight. It needs to be something that they would care about, right? And stand out. It needs to be personalized potentially, like I showed with the examples of doing the individual reports for people's homes. And so I think that question is critical when thinking about how to, in a farm, stand out, right? And so we'll keep working in those worksheets together. Maybe try to think through some things that you've seen based on the last few sessions, Luciana, and then we'll keep working on it. Lauren has a question. I'm feeling stumped as I'm successfully doing my marketing initiatives where I have a very strong track record, but looking to break into a new market. That's a bit of a 180 from my experience. Shows as I'm geographically in a new place. What ideas can you share for this? So I think I'm looking to break into a new market that is a bit of a 180 from my experience. So again, for this, I think is still an opportunity to dive in, to do the research, to have the knowledge, the expertise, the insight of a particular area, and then show that in, again, that very personalized way. That's one opportunity. Two is just standing out with like potentially your pillar event, kind of thing in that particular area. All of the examples that we've provided so far in the course, and are ways to stand out, no matter if you don't necessarily, you're just getting into this particular area. You can still find that area, that ability, expertise. You can still show how you can stage a property and sell a property over ask better. The same principles, I think, apply. The same kind of power of your network that you have of designers and contractors, et cetera, that you can bring to the table to show how people can increase their home value. Hopefully that helps, Lauren. And if there are additional questions, feel free to ping me with questions inside of your worksheet, and we'll try to tackle those over the coming week. Please suggest tasks not to do to do 2024. Tasks not to do 2024. Stu, maybe give me some additional clarity on that question. I'm not totally sure what you mean by that. See ya, Matt. Hope you do another part 2. Continue marketing and working course. Oh, thank you. How are the piano lessons going? Not good, Brian. It's been a very focused month this month on the marketing course. So, but my friend who teaches me piano is in town, and we're gonna play this weekend. It's gonna be fun to dive back in. And May is my piano playing month. That's a great tip there from Luciana for Lauren. Peggy's asking, do most people have assistants to help manage this all? Absolutely. One thing I will be adding to, it's in here today, and I'll go ahead and click through, and thanks here is, with the link today, you'll start to get, you will get the start of, I should say, the marketing resources doc that I'm putting together for all of you. This will have everything from my recommended people to do branding and ongoing design work, freelancers for that, people who have offered services to people to be like almost an outsourced COO for their business if they're big enough businesses, and as well as a bunch of AI resources, etc. And so look for that coming, Peggy. I think, as Brian said here in response, which is very accurate, I think it's like about the finding the opportunity to take a step. When is the right step to get that assistant on board? I think a great thing to approach is virtual assistants. I will be adding something because I did a little research to try to talk to some firms that do virtual assistant work, and see what the opportunities were. And then I will try to get those price points and estimates and add those to the resources document. Um, you have some great information about concierge. Yeah, concierge just depends on your market, depends on, so in some cases, interest is being added again. It varies, as Sophie said, according to market. So it's still something that's great for marketing, but it really has to be right to execute. And the best thing about concierge is you can pitch it, get in the door, build a relationship. You might give the advice that actually, it's not exactly right for you, but here's another alternative I can do instead to really make sure that your home value is increasing, et cetera. So again, they're looking for you for insights, things that stand out, things that differentiate you, right? To Lauren, to your question, going into a new market where you're not as known, using those tried and true things that are going to work no matter where you are, I think is a great thing to lean back into for your marketing. Yeah. Great. So this looks like Suze, thank you for clarifying what are wasted efforts in 2024. For example, paying for leads, paying for resources that are already available at Compass. Market has changed considerably. Yes. You nailed it really spot on, Suze. I think one is that finding the opportunities to just lean into the Compass tools as best you can is always going to be helpful. I think more than anything, it's about what we've talked about in this course. Anything outside of your Zen circle is wasted efforts to me. Anything that doesn't focus on the right clients and customers that you want to get that are going to help you grow your business, it doesn't focus on the market area that as you have the expertise in, that you're trying to build, continued awareness and farm and get those clients in. And yeah, that means in many cases paying for leads that might not even be in a neighborhood that you care about or have an expertise in. That's always been my problem with leads coming from places like Zillow and otherwise. Now, again, that's why they do very zip code oriented lead generation there. But again, it's so hyper competitive, and it doesn't really lend you to building the long-term relationships that are going to build your brand and build a sustainable business, which I think everybody in this course wants. So, I think, yeah, lots of things to think about what not to do, but I think this hopefully gives you an area to kind of focus in on. All right. Well, it looks like we've come right towards the end of the wonderful questions and great dialogue. I love seeing the interactivity in the chat amongst all of you. Listen, you're all now building your own referral networks with each other as a part of this course. You're understanding, better now about the things that you should focus on to build your client, your agent referral. And the same principles apply to your client influencers, right? For those people, it is about those same kind of things, right? It's the personal notes, it's the gifts, it's the events, it's the dinners, it's the visiting them, it's getting there in person. And so, and it's not trying to, it's not spamming them, it's not doing all these different things. It's basically applying the same principles to that challenge. And it should be a part, like I said, and like you see with Brian Jason's spreadsheet, a part of your every month work. All right. That was the idea of the marketing plan. You now have your 4 pillar areas. You see how they work together. You see how the same principles of pillar events and all these different things apply up front to attracting people to your business, but also to delighting and creating people and turning people into promoters. And I've seen, that one of the things I've learned a lot is like in the worksheets, the first time I've done the worksheets. And so first I want to thank all of you, kind of the guinea pigs, right, of like how they work. And they're not perfect. I'll be improving them a lot over future courses. I'll be definitely streamlining. I think there's a lot in there, and some people have felt overwhelmed. But what I've seen in many, many, many cases is that for those who just like, kind of stretch out and push in a little bit, at least it's helping you really clarify the focus of where you should be spending your time and energy. And to just work to get down to that bottom box, that focus box, and move that box over into your marketing plan. And then every month at your marketing meeting, this is now what you talk about with your team or yourself. This is what you're going to work on. And then you can start to build out your simple tracker based on something that, like Ryan and Jason have built. So very excited to see the collaboration in here. Very excited to see a lot of the back and forth on idea sharing, and like I said, ping me inside of your worksheets today, tomorrow. Send me emails directly. Again, I'll put my email address in here again. And as we head to the last session next week, there's a question about availability of the sessions. Yes, all of the videos will be available to the people on this course. I think I'm not sure exact length of time, Peggy, but I'm pretty sure kind of, in perpetuity, or at least for a very long time. So you have plenty of time to go back and review them. And then, yeah, I will, next session was planned to be a Q&A. Will probably be a little bit shorter and lighter for that next session next week. But again, we'll probably send a survey link out. We'll have some follow-ups as well. This resource list will go out to all of you with the follow-up email. And looking forward to seeing everyone again next week and completing our course. So thanks, everybody.